My name is Raza, and today I'm going to talk to you about the brand new Black Knight Revenge indoor court shoe. Black Knight has recently come out with this model, and I have had it for a few days now. I've tested it for a couple of days, and I'm going to give you my honest, unbiased feedback. First things first, my initial impressions of this shoe have been very, very positive. I've noticed that the shoe is quite light, but it's also very, very sturdy. I've noticed that it's relatively wide, so if you have a wide foot, this shoe is perfect for you. I've been wearing Asics Gel Racquet 11, I've worn the Gel Blast FF2 in the past, and I've always found that the Asics shoes are quite narrow for my feet, and I feel a bit pinched. These shoes have fantastic width. The sole is also really, really tacky. I've felt good grip when I've been moving. I feel that the cushioning on these shoes compared to, let's say, the Asics Gel Racquet 11 are a little bit lower. You don't feel like you're quite as high, which in fact is actually really, really fantastic for lateral stability. Honestly, they remind me a lot of the classic Prince shoes that Peter Nicol used to wear. I remember wearing those shoes for years, and I absolutely loved them. They had a wider toe box just like these. They had solid amount of cushioning, but you weren't excessively high, so you had really good lateral stability. These shoes feel soft and ready to play with from the moment you put your foot into them. I found with Asics, for instance, ironically enough, before I received these shoes, I had just put on a brand new pair of Asics, and I couldn't wear them after about 15 minutes of being on the squash court, only because they take a really long time to wear in. Now, they feel great once you wear them in, but you feel a lot of soreness for the first little while, or at least I do. With these shoes, I didn't feel any of that soreness when I first put them on. They didn't have that excessive stiffness that a lot of new shoes have, regardless of the brand. Big bonuses for me: wider toe box, wider front of the foot. So if you have a wide foot, these are fantastic for you. If you want to be lower to the ground, but still have adequate cushioning and support for lateral movement, these are fantastic for you. These also look like they have been built to last. And they've been built strategically. So you see there's a lot of tough material that's used on the edges where people usually end up grinding down their shoes. If you come sideways and you slide over here, it looks like it's well reinforced. From the front over here, when you drag that foot to decelerate, it looks like it's well reinforced and it goes relatively high up. Same thing in the back. The sole ends up coming relatively high up here, so that when you do plant that foot, when you're taking a big lunge forward, it's less likely that you're going to slide out because you have good traction when you're planting that heel. All in all, first impressions of the shoe have been super duper positive for me. Let's talk sizing. I actually have two of the other shoes I've worn in the recent past. These black and white ones are the Gel Racquet 11 by Asics, and these are the Gel Blast FF2. Again, just to reiterate some of the things I've mentioned earlier, you notice that the shape of the shoes is a little bit different. You can see the width on the front of these shoes is a little bit wider, so if you do in fact ever feel pinched in some of these other shoes, these ones will give you a bit more breathing room. They're lower, like I said, than the Gel Racquet 11, but just like the Blast FF2, they are quite low, and they give you that same sort of lateral stability that these shoes do, but I feel that these ones just give my foot a little bit more room to breathe. Sizing wise, my feet are typically a US 8.5, so these Gel Rockets are an 8.5, Euro 42, and 26.5 centimeters. If you look at the Black Knight shoes, they actually fit slightly smaller. These are US 8.5, however, they are at Euro 41.5, so marginally smaller. And if I line up some of these shoes back to back, you'll see that these ones are a fraction, a smidge shorter. If you are typically 8.5 or a 9, I would probably urge you to go half a size up in terms of length. Width-wise, the Black Knight Revenge are definitely wider than some of the other shoes that you're probably accustomed to. For me personally, I normally have a little bit of room above my toe with my Asics shoes. In these ones, I don't feel a pinch at the top, so I have just enough room at the top, even though they're fractionally smaller, and I feel far more comfortable when it comes to the width of the shoe. Honestly, even though they're a bit smaller, I will stick to the 8.5. Black Knight did send me a 9, but I found that the 9, even though lengthwise it's very similar to some of these other shoes here, because of the extra width, I found them to be a little bit large for me personally. I hope that helps you from a sizing perspective. The final point to make here is that these shoes are very well priced. They come in at $90 Canadian, which is less than most of the other shoes that it is going to be competing against. If you want to give it a try, check out the links below this video. You can get your hands on a pair of these. I don't think you're going to regret it. I actually think you're really going to like them. They feel snug, secure, and just robust. What I will do is, in a few months after wearing these and testing these out properly, put up another video for you, and then we can see what that long-term use looks like. I am on court for several hours a day, combination of training and coaching and some feeding, of course. So we'll see how they stand up over time. Folks, check out the shoes. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. In fact, I think you're going to like them quite a bit. Take care, and we'll see you in the future.